people. Well, good evening, Central High School, and congratulations, class of 2025. It is so fantastic to be here with you. Superintendent, Dr. Stacy Stanley, so nice to see you. And Principal Cherise Ayers, thank you. Thank you for being here. Board members, our senior assistant principal, Mr. Croix, faculty, outstanding faculty and teachers in Central Public Schools, family, friends, I think we've covered the aunts, uncles, mimas, all of them, and of course, all of you. It is an honor to celebrate with you today. Now, I am a longtime high school English teacher and a former senior class advisor. The governor and I did that for a lot of years. So I want to give a shout out tonight to your class advisor. Mr. Jentz is fantastic. Would be here today without your help. All those emails, all that information, we so appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And with that said, I know exactly what it means to stand between seniors and their summer break. So Central Class of 2025, let's get this show on the road. Graduates, this arena is filled with people who are so proud of what you've accomplished in order to walk across this stage tonight in just a few minutes. And you become a part of one of the oldest traditions in Minnesota high school history, a St. Paul Central alum. That's a big deal. Seniors, you have survived a school building with not enough windows and no AC.
That's right.
And your entire generation has made it through more than its fair share of adversity and unknowns. A pandemic that stole some of your most formative years. A turbulent economy that you're about to graduate into. A climate crisis that is making our Minnesota winters and 4 seasons really erratic. And of course, those 12 harrowing hours when TikTok was banned. But for all the uncertainty you've navigated so far, nothing compares to what is in store. Sure, some of you know your immediate plans, and that is great. And some of you don't. And that's okay too. But soon enough, all of you will face a far more daunting and compelling question. What's next? Well, I'd like to let you in on a secret that most adults don't always talk about, or maybe even admit. No one can really answer that question, because no one really has any idea exactly where they're going. Sure, it's important to have goals. Absolutely. But your best laid plans today might not be the path you're meant to be on tomorrow. For example, if you had told high school Gwen, who only had ever known her small town with just a few more people in it than your entire graduating class. Now, extra credit here if any of you know where Ivanhoe, Minnesota is. Anyone? Oh. If you had told me that I would meet my husband in western Nebraska, spend almost 3 decades in and around public schools, serve as First Lady of the great state of Minnesota, advocate for sanctioning a new high school sport, boys volleyball, retrospect, my path makes sense, and sometimes I even pretend it was all planned that way. But I'm here to tell you truthfully, it certainly was not. The essays that you have all completed as school ended are really the warm-up for the ongoing essay you will continue to write. You've practiced. Remember preschool and kindergarten graduation, where you said what you wanted to be when you grew up? Or middle school and 9th grade I-Search papers on the career that you were most interested in and you researched? Or in 10th through 12th grade, pondering of the values you hold close and how they influence you and your choices. Now, don't put your pencil down. Don't ever put your pencil down or your voice to text, however you are drafting in 2025. Because in reality, you'll be writing your whole life because you are writing your story. And when you get to be my age, it's a while, but when you get here, you too will be able to tell your story in a way that connects all of the pieces and parts of your journey, even if it doesn't make sense at that exact moment. Because everything we do, every person we connect with, every job we have, every action we take, for good or for ill, it all adds up and it all matters. It all prepares you to be the person that you are meant to be. Let me give you an example. The summer after my freshman year of college, I got a job as a waitress at the logging camp in Park Rapids, Minnesota. That's right. While many of my peers were doing fancy internships or off traveling the world, I was serving all-you-can-eat eggs in a Paul Bunyan-themed cabin. Now, it wasn't glamorous, but I loved it. I didn't really want that summer to end. And I can tell you in hindsight that it was one of the most important jobs I've ever had, because I learned how to make people feel welcome, how to listen closely, and pay attention to detail. Pro tip, do not get an egg order wrong if you want a customer to be happy. Scrambled and sunny side up, it matters. And how to keep your cool when dealing with a difficult customer. And believe it or not, that job gave me the foundational skills for every job that's come after. As a teacher, as an administrator, and today as First Lady. I learned about service in a very important way. If I let myself be consumed by what everyone else was doing, I might have obsessed over finding a more prestigious job, a job where maybe I was more comfortable, a job where I was not supervised by absolutely everyone. But if I had, I wouldn't have picked up those vital lessons, and those lessons are part of who I am and how I answer the question of what is next. So in a commencement speech, it's expected that advice is usually offered. So here's a piece of it from my mom. FYI, moms usually give good advice, and so do dads. Just stick with us. We get smarter as you get older, or something like that. Now, my mom is a retired PE teacher. So you don't know my mom, but you know my mom. She would say, Gwen, you must do the work that's in front of you. Gwen, do the work that's in front of you. And growing up, I thought that meant the dishes. But as I got older, I realized what that really meant. If you are doing the work that is in front of you, you don't get bogged down comparing yourself to what others are doing, or convincing yourself that you need to be doing something else to reach your goals, because your focus is instead on serving. You are not only looking, but you are seeing. You are not only hearing, but you are listening. And you are doing all of that to find the work that's calling out to you. Then you focus your time and your talents on it. Give everything you can and everything you have of yourself. And we don't do that work alone. As Central seniors, you know about together. Relationships are paramount. And we build those relationships by doing meaningful work together. Think of your time at Central, when perhaps you played on a team, were part of an ensemble, organized an event, hosted a study group, pushed someone's car out of a snowbank. Now when I say work, it just doesn't apply to the workplace. All this and more are meaningful ways to contribute to your community and make a difference in people's lives. And that's why they are also real opportunities for you to build those connections. I know it's more of a challenge to do that in today's world. It's easy to bury our heads in our phones and hard to pull ourselves away, myself included. But there are so many chances for meaningful connections all around us in every phase of life. And those relationships make our lives so much richer in return. So my second piece of advice for you is this: find something to do, something that's meaningful to you. And when you do, and when it is, that's where you're going to find your people. There's one more point I'd like to share, and this time it's not borrowed from my mom. It's actually lifted from a wise, outspoken, middle-aged governor of a big Midwestern state. That's right, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. In a commencement address of his own a few years back, he talked about how anyone can be cruel or violent. He said it's inside all of us and has been ever since we were living in the caves. But what is hard is overcoming those instincts. As we mature and learn, we aspire to be generous and gracious and good. And then Governor Pritzker, a billionaire himself, a father, a governor, and an overall fabulous person, shared this insight. The kindest person in the room, he said, is often the smartest person in the room. Let me say that again. The kindest person in the room is often the smartest person in the room. The magic of getting an education, and here at Central High School, an excellent education, is that it opens not just your mind, but also your heart. Studying history, analyzing literature, exploring sciences, choosing electives, embracing the arts, and if you're anything like me, battling your way through math, instills in you curiosity and resilience and empathy. So that means that that diploma that you're going to get tonight in just a few minutes is so much more than an academic seal of approval. It is a permission slip. It is a passport. It is a permission slip and passport to reject a base inclination to be cruel, to reject hate, to reject belittling others, because only small, selfish, and not very smart people want to spend their time being cruel to others who may not have had the privilege that they have had, to hate for illogical reasons of outward appearance. Only small, selfish, and not very smart people belittle others who may think differently than they do. And only small, selfish, and not very smart people waste precious time trying to bring others down to their own small, pathetic size. I think you know. I think you know who I'm talking about. So if you soon-to-be Central graduates are looking for ways to show your capacity, to project strength, to gain respect, remember, the first step is simple. Just be kind. So speaking of those diplomas, and I promise it's almost time to get yours, I'll close where I began with that dreaded yet compelling question, what's next? And if it makes you feel any better, that trepidation you feel fumbling around for an answer, it won't be unusual. The truth is you'll feel some version of it for most of your lives. You'll come to know it. It'll be your friend, especially when you have to confront times of transition or inevitably failure. Tim and I learned a little bit about that recently. In those moments, when you see a path ahead of you that is so clear until that door slams shut, it forces you to figure out where to go from here. So I'm wrestling with many of the same feelings that you are tonight. And to tell you the truth, I don't know exactly what's next. But here's what I do know. What's next is up to me. Just like what's next is up to you. Knowing a destination is helpful on a road trip, but life isn't mappable in the same way. There are too many twists and turns, and places worth stopping and visiting along the way. There are forks in the road with no wrong direction, and detours that you realize were destinations all along. And try as you might, you do not know what is coming around the bend. At any age, we all are a work in progress. We are forever learning. And ultimately, our lives are not defined by one job, one victory, or one defeat. A well-lived life is the sum total of all that you put into it. Everything matters, and everything counts. So just do the work that's in front of you, and build meaningful relationships, and be kind to one another, because standing here today, looking out at all of you, your principal is right. You're beautiful. And I see the future, and I am hopeful. You are curious and passionate. You are big thinkers. You are risk takers. Class of 2025, you are steeled in the experience of navigating the unknown. Embrace it. Grab life in your own way. And with the foundations you have laid here at Central, you are Central strong. Your future is unlimited. So I'm going to leave you with one last quotation from Conan O'Brien. You know, a range of sources is important whenever you're writing essays and speeches. My mom, J.B. Pritzker, and now Conan and O'Brien. It's a range. He says, work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. We are all rooting for you. To everyone in this class, and especially the Central Boys Volleyball Team Section 5